You have 72 hours. That's not a warning, that's a countdown. In this facility, 94% of inmates belong to something. The other 6% are called independents. By the end of their first year, every single one of them has been hospitalized, extorted, or moved into protective custody, which is just a different kind of prison with a different kind of danger. You are now one of the 6%. This is the last morning you'll wake up as the person you were before these walls. By tonight, something will claim you. And once it does, who you were yesterday won't matter anymore. Only the code matters, only the crew, only the level you're willing to reach to survive. Level 1, the claim. They don't recruit you with a flyer, they don't pitch you. Someone watches you for 3 days, how you eat, where you sit, whether you look at the floor or look at the men around you, whether you move through the yard like you belong there or like you're trespassing. On day 4, a man sits down across from you at breakfast. He doesn't introduce himself, he says one sentence. Where are you from? Not your hometown, not your state. He's asking what blood you carry, what neighborhood claims you on the outside, what name your family answers to. This question is not small talk, it is the single most important sentence you will hear in this entire facility. Your answer decides whether you eat tomorrow, whether you sleep tonight, whether you walk the yard freely or walk it flanked. You answer. The man nods. He stands. He walks away. He doesn't tell you what happened, but something happened. A message was sent. A claim was made. You belong to them now. Not because you chose them, because your name, your blood, your history chose you before you ever got here. The gang doesn't ask if you want in, it assumes you're already in. The only question is how deep. Rule number 1, you don't choose the gang chooses you. And once it does, the door behind you locks permanently. Level 2, the test. You're not a member, you're a question mark. The gang needs to know 3 things about you before they let you close. Can you follow orders without asking why? Can you keep your mouth shut when someone tells you to keep your mouth shut? Can you handle pressure without breaking? They test you in ways that don't look like tests. They tell you to walk to cell block D during the 15-minute movement window. Just walk, don't stop, don't talk, don't look at anyone who tries to talk to you. Walk from point A to point B. That's the entire assignment. You do it, you don't know why. That is the correct response. They tell you to hold a folded piece of paper in your left shoe for 3 days. You don't unfold it, you don't read it, you don't ask what it says, you hold it. After 3 days, they tell you to throw it in the trash during cleanup detail. You throw it, you still don't know what it said. That is the correct response. They tell you to be at the weight pit at 2:15 on a Wednesday. Just stand there, watch. You stand, you watch. A fight breaks out 2 feet from you. You don't move, you don't flinch, you don't intervene, you watch. The fight ends. A man walks past you and says nothing. The man you were watching for walked in during the fight and walked out during the fight, and you didn't even notice him because you were watching the wrong thing. They tell you this later. It was a test. You failed one part, you passed the other. They don't tell you which part was which. You figure it out on your own. That too is a test. Rule number 2, the test never ends. Every assignment is a test. Every silence is a test. Every moment you think no one is watching, that is the most important test of all. Level 3, the blood. There is a moment that separates everyone who belongs from everyone who almost belonged. The gang calls it earning your letters, your stripes, your proof. Every organization has one, a beating you endure, a task you complete that crosses a line you told yourself you'd never cross. A gesture, sometimes literal, sometimes symbolic, that marks you as theirs permanently. You are told to handle a situation. The situation is a man who has been stealing from the crew's commissary supply. The man is not from your organization. He is not from any organization. He's independent. He has no protection, no backup, no crew. That makes him the easiest target in the facility. That also makes the task the clearest test of who you are. You handle it, not cleanly, not elegantly. You handle it the way you were told to handle it. Fast, visible, conclusive. The man understands. The men around you understand. The guards pretend they didn't see it. The administration logs it as an incident with no identifiable participants. You walk back to your cell roll. Your hands are shaking, not from adrenaline, not from fear, from something you can't name yet. You sit on your bedroll and you stare at the wall and you try to find the person you were before this morning and you can't find him. He's gone. Something happened in those 45 seconds that removed him from you permanently. Not your identity, not your morality, something deeper. The part of you that hesitated before crossing a line. That part is gone now. The gang knows this. This is what the blood is for. Not punishment, not loyalty testing. The blood is an amputation. They are cutting away the part of you that might one day choose to leave. Rule number 3. Crossing a line doesn't change your mind. It removes the part of your mind that could ever consider going back. You don't decide to stay. You lose the ability to leave. Level 4. The hand. You are not the most feared man in the facility, but you are the one they send when they need fear delivered quickly and precisely. You are the hand of the organization, the instrument, the tool. This is not the same as being violent. The yard is full of violent men. Violence is cheap. Anyone can be violent. Violence is a currency that depreciates rapidly. The more you use it, the less it buys you. What the gang needs is not violence. What the gang needs is the credible threat of violence. The promise that if a line is crossed, consequences arrive. Not randomly, not chaotically, predictably, on time with precision. You are that promise. When a man falls behind on his debt to the crew, you don't attack him, you visit him. You sit across from him in the yard and you explain the math, the interest rate, the penalty schedule, the timeline. You give him numbers. He does the calculation himself. The conclusion he reaches is that you might hurt him. The conclusion he reaches is that you will hurt him, and that the hurt will be exactly as bad as the math says it will be, and that there is no scenario in which he avoids this hurt except one, paying what he owes on time. Most men pay. The ones who don't learn a specific vocabulary. You deliver the lesson. You deliver it efficiently. You deliver it without anger, without satisfaction, without hesitation. You deliver it because the code requires it, and because your position in the hierarchy demands it, and because the man who sent you is watching to see if you do it correctly. You do it correctly. Something has changed in you. You noticed it 3 months ago. You feel less, not nothing, less. The situations that used to make your pulse spike now barely register. The consequences that used to haunt your imagination now feel like variables in an equation you solve before bedtime. You have thought about what this means. You have decided not to pursue that thought further. It doesn't lead anywhere useful. Rule number 5. Power doesn't corrupt. Power clarifies. It strips away the noise and shows you exactly who you were willing to become all along. Level 6. The architect. The gang runs on 3 currencies: violence, money, and information. You used to deliver the first. Now you manage all 3. You didn't get this position through seniority. You got it through something the old boss recognized in you that most men never develop. You think in systems. You see the facility not as a building, but as an economy. You see the yard not as a space, but as a market. You see the gang not as a crew, but as a corporation with supply chains, distribution networks, quality control, and a board of directors that meets in the laundry room at 10 p.m. on Sundays. The drugs that move through this facility arrive through 5 channels. You know all 5. You manage 3. The phones that connect inside to outside are monitored, but not all of them and not all the time. You know which ones and when. The guards who can be influenced, not bribed influenced, you know their schedules, their pressures, their vulnerabilities. You don't exploit these people, you build relationships with them. Relationships that produce small favors over long periods, favors that compound. You are running a business from a cell. The business has margins, the business has competitors, the business has employees who sometimes steal from the supply chain and need to be reminded that the supply chain has eyes on every link. You are the eyes. The most dangerous thing in your position is not a rival gang, it's not a guard, it's not the administration. The most dangerous thing is your own crew, the men beneath you who want your position, the men above you who wonder if you've become too valuable to control, the men beside you who are watching to see if you make a mistake they can use to reposition themselves. You don't make mistakes. This is not because you're brilliant. It's because you've learned that in this environment, a mistake is not a learning opportunity. A mistake is a vacancy. Someone else fills it. You don't get to try again. Rule number 5. In a system built on loyalty, the most dangerous person is the one who becomes indispensable. Indispensable people cannot be controlled. and anything that cannot be controlled will eventually be eliminated.
Level 6, the key. There is a line that separates the men who run things inside from the men who run things beyond. You have crossed it. Inside the facility, you are an architect. You manage operations, you enforce discipline, you maintain the economy. But the gang is not just a prison organization. It is a network. It has cells in 7 facilities across 3 states. It has a structure on the outside. Families, businesses, neighborhoods, real estate that feeds resources inward and pulls intelligence outward. The gang is a bridge, and you are now the keystone of that bridge. You communicate with the outside through methods the administration has been trying to intercept for years. Coded letters routed through attorneys who don't know they're carrying code. Phone calls where every third word means something different from what it sounds like. Visits from people who are not family, who are couriers, who are strategists, who are the external leadership reviewing their inside asset and deciding whether he's still reliable or whether he's become a liability. You are still reliable, for now. This position gives you something the previous levels didn't: leverage. You know things that men on both sides of the bars would pay for, would kill for, would destroy entire operations to protect. You know who the corrupt guards are. You know which administrators are on which gang's payroll. You know the real economics of contraband in this facility, not the mythology, not the rumors, the actual numbers. You know where the money goes. You know who it comes from. This knowledge is power. It is also a noose. The man who knows too much is always in danger from the people who need what he knows, because needing what he knows means they can never let him leave, and letting him leave means they have to replace him, and replacing him means someone has to know what he knows, and the only person who knows what he knows is him. Your daughter is 17 now. She visits every 3 months. The visits are 45 minutes through glass. She asks how you're doing. You say, fine. She asks when you're coming home. You say, soon. Neither of you believes either statement, but you both keep making them. The ritual matters more than the truth. Rule number 6. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is a prison. The more you know, the smaller your cell becomes. The less you can move, the less you can leave, the less you can ever be anything other than what you are right now. Level 7. The crown. The man above you fell. The circumstances are not important to this story. What matters is the aftermath, a vacuum. 7 days of chaos where every ambitious man in the organization tested the boundaries of what they could take, what they could hold, what they could claim. You watched. You didn't move. You let them exhaust themselves fighting over a chair that was never theirs to sit in. On the 8th day, you sat down. No one challenged you. No one questioned it. No one disputed it. The chair was yours because everyone already knew it would end up there. You were the only one who never fought for it. That is why you were the only one who could hold it. You are the boss now, not the boss of a crew, the boss of an organization that operates inside a facility and connects to an organization that operates outside it. You report to men you've never met. You receive instructions through channels you've built over years. You give orders to men who would die before they disobey you. Not because they love you, but because they fear what the organization would do to them if they did. You manage everything: the economy, the discipline, the relationships with rival organizations that could erupt into war over a slight that happened 6 months ago that no one can even remember clearly anymore, but that both sides have decided is a matter of principle. You hold the peace. Peace in this facility is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the precise calibration of threat. Enough threat that no one tests the boundaries, not enough threat that the administration intervenes. You hold that calibration like a man holds a straight razor, steady, precise, always aware of the edge. You are 38 years old. You have been inside for 9. You have read 412 books. You have filed 3 legal motions that professional attorneys told you were impossible. One of them was accepted. A hearing is scheduled for next month. You might walk out of this place in a year. You might not. You try not to think about it. Thinking about it doesn't help. Men come to you with disputes that have nothing to do with the gang. Personal quarrels, gambling debts. Someone looked at someone's girlfriend during a visit and the girlfriend didn't look away, and now both men believe their honor has been insulted, and the only resolution they can imagine involves a shank and a shower stall. You listen, you ask questions, you render a judgment. Your judgment is final because both men know the alternative to your judgment is something neither of them can afford. You have become something you did not expect to become. A judge, a mediator, a man whose authority exists not because he imposed it, but because everyone around him agreed that the alternative to his authority was worse than living inside it. You think about this sometimes, what you might have been in a different world, where these particular skills, reading people, managing conflict, maintaining order through reputation rather than force, might have been applied to something other than a criminal empire operating from behind a locked door. You don't think about it long. It isn't productive. Rule number 7. The crown doesn't make the king makes the crown. Authority is not given, it is recognized, and recognition is the one thing that cannot be stolen, only earned. Level 8. The door. You walked out 11 months ago. You stood on a sidewalk at 7:43 in the morning with a bus ticket and a paper bag containing everything you owned, and you breathed air that didn't taste like concrete and institutional detergent, and you felt something you still can't name. Not joy. Joy requires a self that recognizes itself, and yours was dismantled piece by piece over 9 years. Not relief. Relief requires a burden that has been lifted, and the burden you carry now is invisible to everyone except you. You are free. Technically, on paper, in the language of the state, you are free. The conditions attached to that freedom are 47 pages long. Places you cannot go, people you cannot contact, a parole officer you report to every 2 weeks who looks at you like a veterinarian looks at a dog that might still bite. A background check that follows you to every job interview, every application for an apartment, every conversation that reaches the point where someone asks, "So what were you doing for the last 9 years?" You don't answer that question honestly. You learn to answer it with a version that is technically true, but emotionally vacant. I was away. I had some legal issues. I was in a different situation for a while. The words sound like they belong to someone else. They are borrowed from a language you haven't spoken in 9 years, the language of civilians, the language of people who have never had to make decisions where the wrong answer costs more than a grade or a promotion or a relationship. The wrong answer in your language cost blood, cost time, cost the person you used to be. The gang is still out there. They reach out. They are respectful. They acknowledge what you built, what you held, what you sacrificed. They offer things, work, structure, a place in the hierarchy that still exists, that still needs people who understand how to operate in the space between law and chaos. You listen, you don't answer. You are trying to do something that 9 years of running a criminal enterprise from inside a maximum security facility did not prepare you for. You are trying to be a civilian. Your daughter is 18. She is in college. She doesn't visit. She sends a text sometimes. You answer it carefully, aware that every word you type is a negotiation with someone who has every reason to have written you off and has chosen, for reasons you cannot fully understand, not to yet. That yet is the entire architecture of your relationship. It is the single most important word in your life. You know this. You treat it accordingly. You live in a single room. You work at a warehouse. You lift boxes, you load pallets. You come home exhausted in a way that is completely different from the exhaustion of incarceration. It is a clean exhaustion, the exhaustion of a body that moved things from one place to another place because someone asked it to. The exhaustion of labor, not survival. You aren't sure what to make of that. Somewhere in a courtroom right now, a young man is sitting at a table trying to process numbers, years that don't feel real yet. They won't feel real for a while. He will be processed, transported, handed a number, walked down a hallway where men will evaluate him the way predators evaluate prey. He has no idea what he is walking into. He has no idea who he is about to become. He has no idea that the place he is entering has its own complete world inside it, its own economy, its own government, its own laws operating entirely independently of and often in direct opposition to the laws of the country that just sentenced him. He has no idea that the claim he is entering is permanent, that the person he was before will be cut away like a surgeon removes a limb, not to punish, but to ensure he can never leave. He has no idea that the cycle he is entering has no exit, only levels, and the levels go all the way down. The cycle continues.